Do you ever feel tired when you wake up? Are you groggy and slow and confused in the morning? And are you surprised this happens after an entire night's sleep? Let me know in the comments what you experience when you wake up tired. These feelings are normal, and there's a scientific reason behind this morning grogginess, and understanding it is very important. So today I'm going to address why we wake up feeling tired and the concept of sleep inertia. Hey everyone, my name is Matthew and welcome to Calm Insomniac, where we're a community of people trying to get a better night's sleep. If you enjoy learning about sleep health, sleep tips, and relaxing classical music, then please consider subscribing with notifications on, and if you enjoy this video, then please give it a like as it greatly helps out the channel. The scientific term for our morning grogginess is sleep inertia, and sleep inertia refers to the transitional state between sleep and wakefulness marked by impaired performance, reduced vigilance, and a desire to return to sleep. This can last for a few minutes or several hours, but this experience is natural and usually harmless. Sleep inertia can be experienced after a night's sleep or an afternoon nap. In fact, afternoon naps that last longer than 30 minutes have a high chance of you experiencing severe but temporary sleep inertia. Additionally, sleep inertia is so common that one research study considers it the third process of sleep regulation. I previously discussed what controls sleep, and if you missed that video, you can check it out right over here. But let's continue to add to our previous knowledge. Sleep-wake homeostasis is the process that controls our desire to sleep, and this also controls the intensity of our desire to sleep. So the longer we go without sleep, the stronger our desire to sleep is. Circadian rhythm is our body's internal clock which regulates our sleep cycle. This process is controlled by the light-dark cycle of the world around us. So when it's light outside, we usually feel awake, and when it's dark outside, we usually feel sleepy. And sleep inertia is the process that happens when we transition from sleep to wakefulness. And because this is so common and it's part of our natural sleep cycle, this is why it's considered part of our body's sleep regulation. So now we need to address why we experience sleep inertia. Now, even though we understand a lot about it, its function is still a bit of a mystery. If we consider it from an evolutionary standpoint, sleep inertia is not beneficial. Imagine being suddenly woken up and having to immediately address a threat. If you are groggy when you wake up, your chances of survival are lessened. But even though we don't completely understand its function, we mostly understand why this process happens. Our brain needs a more gradual transition to wakefulness than the rest of our body. Immediately when we wake up, our brain is still emitting slower brain waves, and this keeps our brain in a sleep-like state, even though our eyes are open and we're technically awake. And when you immediately wake up, you may experience a sort of temporary paralysis related to sleep, but this is normal and a common occurrence. What's interesting is that sleep inertia and its intensity may be controlled by which stage of sleep you wake up from. Now, this isn't definitively agreed upon in the scientific community, but it is more accepted than not. Some studies have suggested that waking up during REM sleep creates the strongest sense of sleep inertia. Similarly, waking up during slow wave or delta wave sleep could create a similar strong sense of sleep inertia. We ideally want to wake up during stage 1 sleep. At this stage, our body has already transitioned out of sleep and is heading toward wakefulness, and this is what happens ideally when we wake up naturally, and hopefully we experience little to no sleep inertia. But during the work week, we usually wake up to an alarm clock, and an alarm clock doesn't care which stage of sleep we're in. So now that we know what sleep inertia is and why it happens, let's discuss the side effects. Now, I know we're all very familiar with the side effects, and we know how much it can impact the start of our day. But we usually group all of the side effects into one term, groggy, And instead, let's address these side effects specifically. The first common side effect of sleep inertia is disorientation, and this usually presents itself as being briefly unsure of our surroundings. I personally feel disoriented after taking a nap, but it can happen in the morning too. And disorientation is common when we wake up in a new environment, whether that be in a new home, or a friend's house, or even in a hotel. Along with disorientation, confusion is a very common side effect. Now, this could be confusion about your surroundings, but it usually relates more to speech. When we wake up in the morning and we're tired, we are often unable to correctly process spoken language. So if someone has ever spoken to you shortly after you wake up and you can't understand a word they say, this is likely due to sleep inertia. Both disorientation and confusion are part of sleep inertia's biggest side effect, reduced cognition. When we wake up but our brain is still in a sleep-like state, it's very difficult for our brain to correctly process information. Many studies have shown that our memory is severely reduced during the effects of sleep inertia, and other studies have shown that participants' ability to solve simple addition problems is severely lessened. And finally, sleep inertia is often accompanied with reduced motor skills. When we wake up, we're often in a state of temporary paralysis related to sleep, and this process is a huge reason why we have a drive to stay in bed and return to sleep. But once we do get out of bed, our balance is usually impaired. You might find yourself stumbling or even tripping when you get out of bed, and our ability to do fine motor skills such as with our hands, like opening a tube of toothpaste, might be very difficult for you. So the final thing you might be wondering is, can you prevent sleep inertia? Well, the short answer is no. It's probably impossible to completely eliminate sleep inertia from your life. There's a good chance you will experience it at least occasionally. But there are some things we can do to lessen our chances of experiencing sleep inertia. First, maintain a healthy sleep schedule. This includes getting the recommended 7 to 9 hours of sleep a night, and it's probably a good idea to keep your bedtime to around the same time every night. Next, make sure that your sleep environment is perfect for quality sleep. This includes making sure your room is very dark and doesn't let any light in until the morning. Also, make sure that your room is free of distractions, especially your phone and a TV. And make sure that your bedroom is only for sleep, so don't bring any work into your bedroom. Also, try to limit your caffeine consumption. I know I talk a lot about caffeine, but it can really interfere with your sleep, and it can have lasting effects on your sleep, especially if you consume caffeine later in the day, and this can strengthen or enhance the effects of sleep inertia the next morning. And finally, try waking up naturally without an alarm clock. Now, obviously, don't be late to school or work, but when we wake up naturally, we hopefully wake up when we are in stage 1 sleep. Remember, an alarm clock doesn't care which stage of sleep we're in. And there's actually some products out there that are alarm clocks that coordinate with your sleep stage, so those would be interesting to try out if you can. Alright, that is a brief explanation of why we wake up tired in the morning and the topic of sleep inertia. Understanding how this process works is important because then we can hopefully try to combat this. And I'm very curious about these sleep stage alarm clocks. I'm hoping I can maybe get my hands on one, and it would be a fun experiment, and those results would hopefully benefit us both. Don't forget to let me know in the comments, what is your experience like when you wake up tired and are under the effects of sleep inertia? Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you learned something. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow me on Facebook and Pinterest, check out my website, and join my email list. All of those links are down below. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about sleep health, then I suggest you check out this playlist right over here. And if you missed my last video where I give an overview of the benefits of naps, then definitely check out this video down over here. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.